Hey everyone, Terry at Painted Garden. I'm going to try to say hi in the video for a second. Hi! It's wicked cold out, but it's seed starting time and I'm outside and ready to get my hands dirty. Are you ready? Let's go. I have here in front of me the tools of the trade. In this pot, this lovely mixing pot, I have, it's a little breezy, this is very dry stuff, Jiffy Natural Organic Seed Starting Mix. And it's stuff that I had sitting around. I didn't realize I still had some, so I bought another bag. I also had sitting around this Wonder Soil. The squirrels out in the yard startled me. I didn't know what the heck was running around here. So this is Expanding Planting Mix. It expands 9 times with water, so I'm expecting this pot to get a lot fuller. It's got cocoa fiber, worm casting, some other things, kelp. So baby seedlings don't really need all that fertilizer till they're 10 days old, but before I read this, I didn't really read the bag. I already dumped it in there, and not a lot of it, just a little. I'm just trying to use up stuff that I had sitting around, and since it's seed starting time, and I knew it was like a cocoa fiber thing, I figured I'd use it. So that's what I have in here. It's only a cup or two of that, and the rest is probably 10 out of 12 quarts of the seed starting mix. I have my seed starting cell trays. I have my tray, and I have a pot, a kettle of boiled water. You want to start with hot water with these things because they can have they can have bacteria and stuff that, you know how sometimes you're starting seeds and you're watering them and they get mildew on the top and fuzzy mold. That's because there's stuff in here that you really don't want in your soil. So we're going to kill them. We'll kill those microbes with some bloody hot water. And you have to start with moist soil anyway, so I'll just mix this up a bit with some heat. Lots of heat. It's some rich smelling steam, I tell you. Oof. It's got that stale, musty coconut smell. There's a little bit of worm castings. I think those worms ate cow poop. Hey. They're doing great. Great. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is separate these cell trays out. All that sits there, and put my, there we go, there's one. I might actually have more seed and starting mix than I need again this year. So next year I'll be telling you how I need to get rid of the old stuff again. Some of these have a little bit of cobwebs in it and stuff because I've had these cells for years. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this steaming hot mess with a shovelful and fill my cells. And the reason I'm out in the cold doing this is because I don't want to have to vacuum this stuff up in the house later. Because it is tedious to be neat and tidy. In the old house, I used to do this at the kitchen table. Because the old house was not quite as nice and pretty as this house, and I wasn't that concerned about making a mess and ruining anything. My new house is nice and pretty. And even though I will sit at the dining room table with this once it's full to put the seeds in, it will be tidied up enough that it won't make a big mess. And I can just wipe down the table after. So I might have to go in and get some more hot water, because a lot of this is still pretty dry underneath, and I don't need it to be soaking wet to get started, but I do need it all to be pretty damp. So everybody wonders how tight you should pack the cells. Don't make them too loose that when you water them, they're just going to sink down. But you don't want them packed so tight. So, I mean, you do want to push in the dirt. You want it firm. The plants will be stronger for having to, you know, put some effort into putting their roots down. And they tend to want to put in that effort anyway. So you might as well let them do it. And you don't want these so soft and crumbly that later when you're trying to transplant, that the whole root ball and stuff just falls apart and you have a ruined mess in your hand. Okay. So, shovel up some more. Okay. Keep filling. Alright, so I'm going to keep filling these, and when they're both done, I will bring everything inside, and we will go from there with the process of seed starting. And I won't bore you with this anymore, but again, see, some of these are more full. The ones around the edges I'm not getting as much soil into because I'm worrying about spilling it. But you want them kind of firm. So I will do that. Get all this set and settled. And then I will be back for the thrilling moment when we put seeds in here. Oh, it's so exciting. Finally planting things. It means summer is coming. Summer is coming. That's what we say here in the northeast region of the United States, also known as New England. Summer is coming. So we will see you soon. Okay, also welcome to my dining room. Again, you can't see me because I can't be in the video and use the camera at the same time, but I'm here for real. Hi! So I hope that wasn't too scary. I can't tell. So I have my 2 seed trays that I filled up earlier with soil, and they're starting to dry out a little on the top, so I'm going to water them from underneath, make sure the soil stays nice and moist, and then we are going to start planting some seeds. So I've decided what to plant for now. Let me get some things out of the way. This table is covered with stuff. So for now I'm sticking with peppers and tomatoes and maybe an herb or two. But what I'm going to do is lift this up a bit, just so that I can get my little trusty watering can under here. And I'm going to fill this tray. Ooh, I hope there's no cracks in it. Look under here. Yeah. I disturbed a spider. Sorry, Mr. Longlegs, you have to move out. I didn't know you were alive in there, or you would not have come in the house. So these things must be drinking as I pour, because this is not getting any deeper. So I'm going to put these down in here. There's a good amount of weight. My little spider friend is going to have to go, but I'll put him back outside. So I'm going to go refill my can and water the other tray. And again, I'm still using warm water just because this kind of stuff seems to soak up the warm water more readily. At this point is the reason. So go back over to the dining room. Oh, I'm dripping water all over the hardwood floors. Probably not good. It's alright, I own a mop. I do have a spray bottle, so I can always mist these, but the issue with misting is it's not going to put enough to soak into the soil. It'll just keep the top wet, and it'll keep your seedlings wet, and then they'll make mold, and they'll damp off. I'm just trying to get this into a position where it's useful for me. Oh, now the spider's over here. Great. Is that the same spider? Who knows? He's running. Alright, so I'm going to water underneath this raised up piece. If all of a sudden there's like a swarm of spiders comes, marching across the dining room table, you're going to see a quick end to this video. Also, if I see water come pouring out of a crack in this seed tray. Alright, so set that back in there. Alright. I don't know where Mr. Spider went. Oh, he's making himself to home. Let's grab his web thread. Can you see him? There he is. Oh, he dropped on the floor. I've had in the past, a mistake I made was doing this after I put the seeds in. And guess what happens? See how this all bubbles up and then settles? I want my seeds a certain depth, because they only have enough energy to push through a certain depth of soil. And if they get washed and settled in deeper, they're not going to make it. That's why sometimes you think, oh, those seeds had a bad germination rate. Nah, it's not that. It's because they got washed too deep into the soil. They were buried too deep. There are some seeds that are so tiny, and they say on the package to surface sow them, which means just sprinkle them over the surface. There's some that say 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch deep. And when you look at the size of the seed, that's about what the size of the seed is. There's a reason for that, because seeds have the energy to push through a depth of soil that's about the size of themselves. Be that 1/4 inch. If you got a big, pumpkin seed or something like that, yeah, you're going to want to put it 1/2 inch to 1 inch deep, because it has the energy to push up that high. It needs that moisture and soil and that depth of soil to stay moist and to, to make it do its thing and germinate, get soggy and crack and open up. And also to be able to hide from the squirrels and birds that might want to come and eat it. So, all right, so I'm done prepping my soil here. Okay, so you're going to want to keep track of what you've planted and where. I know I always do, because it's nice to know what you have. So I have lots and lots of seeds, plastic plant tabs. And I have decided, again, to plant tomatoes and peppers, just because those are the things that are going to take at least 8 weeks. You know, it's 8 weeks before my last frost date, maybe even less at this point. And I want my stuff to be ready to go out. Last year was a catastrophe. I had my stuff ready too early. We moved here. I didn't have time to put them in the ground till they got tall and wonky. The stems were zigzaggy, actually. I pulled in some pepper plants, and I can show you. Let me do that now. So, pepper plants, if you grow them in a warm climate, can be perennial. And if you protect them over the winter, they will come back. So, here's one that I brought in. Don't mind my clutter here, but if you see, the stem comes up and it goes to the left, and then it comes up again because they were getting too tall and leggy for the seed starting trays, but they were sitting on my front step in those seed starting trays for far too long before they got in the ground. Once they got in the ground, they started to establish quite well, and this plant is still doing okay. I wouldn't say it's flourishing, it's surviving. I have done jalapeno plants and habanero plants like this, brought them in and kept them alive for the winter, put them back out in the summer. This is in the old house when we just grew them in pots on the deck on the second floor. And all I would do is prune them a little bit and feed them up real good, and as soon as the heat got them and the sunlight and fresh air and wind and water, they just busted out all over in blooms and became very productive. So we had the first jalapeno plant we ever had. We did that experimentally, not having any idea about vegetable garden at the time. And we had that thing for 8 years, and we just didn't get it in quick enough from a cold snap in the fall one year, and that was the end of that. We've done it since then with habaneros and other plants. These are two other sweet peppers. These are all sweets, not hot. So again, this one, these didn't survive the winter. So this one, the stem is growing along the ground. This one, the same thing. It goes along the ground and then it goes up. That one only just recently seemed to die, and I think it gets less light and more chill over here. Peppers don't like the cold at all. But where there's still green in the stem, and we're not that far out from being able to go outside with these things, I'm going to keep watering it and see what happens. You never know. If it's dead, it's dead, and we'll just move on and have a funeral and put something else in there. So that's the pepper plants surviving the mudroom. Now we'll go back to the seed trays. So now you know why I'm not in a hurry to put my plants in early, like all the other gardeners that are so anxious that they're doing it. I see on Facebook, everybody starting my seeds. I've seen people 3-4 weeks ago starting their seeds because they figure they'll have a big head start. Well, here's hoping. I wish you luck. I told them to tag me and let me know how their experiment worked out, because I really don't think it'll end well, and I'm just curious to see if being a month ahead is going to work for them better than it worked for me. So I'm going to start. First of all, I'm going to go get a different camera setup, and that way I can be in the video for the rest of this and you can watch me start seeds. But this is just seed starting part 1, and I will be back for seed starting part 2, and you will see my smiling face. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.